I am here once again with a fire episode. This episode has been highly awaited. However, first, before we even get to this, I want to send a shout out to our sponsor. Our sponsor is Barber Corps. Yes, I said Barber Corps. And Barber Corps intends to empower the barber community in order to contribute to the advancement of our communities through an emphasis on excellence, teaching and research, lifelong learning, culture enrichment, networking, public-private partnerships, and more. Man, make sure y'all tap into Barber Corps. And yeah, y'all can check them out on Instagram at Barber Corps. And before we move any further, make sure y'all grab y'all tickets at eventbrite.com for the Ohio State Barber Expo, July 23rd. The Ohio State Barber Expo, July 23rd. You can get your tickets at eventbrite.com. Make sure y'all tap into the educational portion and all, man. Once again, that's sponsored by Barber Corps and Always Cutting, Barber Talk, and more. Many more sponsors. But let's get to this episode.
Label me an ex-con with racist cops as criminal. I done made it to the top and then I locked my pinnacle. Back to Africa like Nas and Belly, and it was
Peace. What's happening? You know it's Mrpringlesthebarber, aka Always Cutting's head honcho. I am him, not them. I am him, not them. I know y'all was like, man, hold up, man. Is he gonna get in? Is he gonna jump in the room or not, man? You know we gotta do big promotion, man, big promotion. Today's guest is very, very influential. Let me get. I'm just leaving the gym too, man. So I'm trying to get myself together. I'm trying to get my hydration on right now. And I definitely gotta have my hydration all the way together with this guest right here, man. You dig what I'm saying? So this guest is a brother of my brother, which makes him my brother. And he is an artist / author, discipline coach. He also has a company called SupremeWellbeing, LLC, which focuses on the well-being of your health and things of that nature. Everybody got this thing going on about focus on being holistic, but everybody doesn't have the proper knowledge. And I've been watching him for a minute now, and he know what he's talking about. You dig what I'm saying? He definitely knows what he's talking about. But we're gonna go ahead and get him in the building, man. And I ain't gotta do. I'm gonna tell you this. This segment is not about me. It's not about me. I try to make sure my guests get to speak and get their information on the things that they know. Enlighten y'all on their knowledge. Because I feel like in life, everybody you meet and everybody that's in your life knows something that you don't. So that's all. That's what it's about, basically. This segment is based on the importance of perception, and then I want to focus. I want to tap into something else as far as perception, because you also have perspective, and I don't know if people really understand the difference between the two. So while setting up this segment, doing my outline, getting everything together, and doing some research, I noticed that perspective and perception, they kind of go hand in hand. However, they also differ too. But we're gonna go ahead and tap into the guests. Man, we got Oace of Spades coming in the building, man. Let me get him in here, man. Let me see. I'm gonna get him in here real quick. I see he's sitting back there. Hey, he fully relaxed, man. Okay, that's it. What's happening? Happening?
Peace to the God, man. You crazy, bro. Peace, big bro. How you feeling, man?
Man, outstanding, man. Just leaving the gym, man.
Yeah, I see. I was on the same tip. I was like, yeah, we got to get that good H2O in there. You got to get that natural spring water though.
I do. I drink the spring water, but I caught on my way. I'm like, man, I'm rushing. I was kind of a few minutes behind already, so I'm like, man, I need to get something. So I gotta have,
Yeah, right, yeah.
It's always the spring water is the best. However, this is the best of the worst. How about that?
They love, yeah. Y'all love that brand. It's good.
Yeah.
I rock with it. It's good. I ain't gonna get on y'all too much this morning, man.
No. This is you do. No, that's what we're here for. So because I had I don't know if you follow, it's a female called, her name is Alkaline Living LLC. Shout out to Alkaline Living LLC. She's pretty much in the same spectrum as you. I had her on the show, so she the one that enlightened me as far as the spring water thing and the alkaline, how this is more chemically based and things of that nature. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and break that down real quick. Something real quick, brief about the water.
Oh well, really the water you want to drink, if you're drinking water, and then now with the new information out with Yaki that Yaki was talking about for was the H3O2, which sometimes you could just hydrate off of fruit and just you can hydrate just off of fruit and vegetable water from fruit, water from vegetable. You know what I'm saying? That's really the more complete molecular structure of hydration levels and it has an actual. That's why they call it the H3O2 because it has a more complete molecular structure than H2O. So that's why, like, sometimes I just might just eat watermelon and I feel like I drunk 4 bottles of spring water, you know?
So you eat a whole watermelon?
Oh, I eat I've been vegan 8 years, so I eat a whole melon and be all right.
And I seen that too. I was doing my journalistic research. I seen that. I seen that, man. I was like, that is a different type of discipline, and I want to know, how was that transition? Like starting off.
Well, the starting off, it was when you make a decision to go by a different dietary law, it's the cravings is probably the hardest part, just keeping it 100 for somebody like a regular person that's trying to transition over into a plant-based lifestyle. You're gonna go through some cravings, you're gonna go through some maybe some headaches, withdrawal type symptoms if you really was depending on what type of meat you were eating. And
somewhat like what you go through during Ramadan.
Yeah, kind of like that. The difference, I would say, within Ramadan, the clarity comes sooner than rather than refraining from meat or taking something out of your diet that you're so used to eating for years.
Okay, you know what so you're saying it's gonna be more serious. It's more extensive. It's compared to Ramadan.
Absolutely.
Ramadan is like light work compared to transition.
Absolutely, because the Ramadan you can break your fast with a soda and some fried chicken if you want to.
Yeah, correct.
So it's like, and that'll be defeating the whole purpose of autophagy, and you going through a cell recycling, your cells recycling stage and all of that. But at the end of the day, I feel like you going into a plant-based diet, it puts you in a position of a whole self-disciplinary aspect that you have to really be ready for mentally. I mean, fasting too, but at least mentally fast. I know I can break my fast with some junk food. It's sad, it's unfortunate to say, but that's how some people kind of look at it. Like I refrain for some hours and then I can jump back into what I was into 12 hours ago, 14 hours ago.
Pretty much,
rather than plant-based.
Ramadan is more of a moment, and being vegan is more of a lifestyle.
Absolutely. And then you can implement Ramadan as a lifestyle within your vegan lifestyle as well. Imagine doing Ramadan and you breaking fast with vegan diets or fruitarian diets. That's crazy.
That's the best time to do the transition to me with basically doing it while you're doing Ramadan, because during Ramadan you can shed all your vices.
You know what? That's what I was thinking too, because Ramadan it's not all about actual. It's not all about the fasting from the food, but it's about overcoming, the spiritual obstacles, the emotional obstacles, the obstacles of within the mentation, within the mind. You know what I'm saying? So like it's kind of hard because you go through the same thing with a plant-based diet, because you learn so much new things about yourself within going to a new dietary law. So you might learn, and you learn about how strong you are, and you learn how you come into your real supernaturalism as a human being, not a human body. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about right here. See, now we tapping our way in. Exactly. See, went.
Yeah, man. Like,
that makes sense.
big bro, I was fruitarian for 9 months, man.
For 9 months, all you ate was fruit?
9 months.
You know, and I can say this. The closest I came to that was during Ramadan, and I noticed during Ramadan the clarity, the mental clarity that you get. So I can only imagine your clarity with what you eating. Like your retention rate, memory, all those things play a part in what you eat. Because we still, like I was telling somebody, even though you feel like you may be eating good, you still eating only the best of the worst as of today, unless you have a garden. You know, you go into the grocery store, it's still chemicals on the fruit and the vegetables. I mean, unless you're producing your own food, your own vegetables, your own fruit, that's where you're gonna get the best, unless it's organic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
how do you deal with that as far as organic versus, shopping at the grocery store?
Well, I'm plugged in with the Black Farm. Shout out to Black Farmers Market in North Carolina and Durham. If y'all haven't heard about the Black Farmers Market in Durham, tap in North Carolina, Black Farmers Market NC on Instagram. And I deal with those farmers. I build some relationship with some farmers like that, and I shop like that. And also too, sometimes like it goes back to when you live in it, when you deep in it, and like me, I've been vegan 8 years. Sometimes you might go through, like we was talking about yesterday, like seasons and stages. I might go through stages to where like I'm fasting a lot, and then I might go through a season to where I'm eating fruit. Then I might go through a season to where, like, in the wintertime, like, okay, I'm in a place where it's 4 seasons. So in the wintertime, I find myself eating more full meals, full plant-based meals, maybe once or twice a day. And any other time, I'm only eating once a day. So it's kind of like doses of medicine. Let your food be thy medicine, like what your boys say, the European philosopher. It's
Okay.
really true. That's why, that's kind of like when you understand how important it is. When you understand how important what you consume on all different levels, it becomes like an art.
Okay.
It
I
becomes like
mean,
an art.
it sounds like, okay, this is another thing. So as far as your network of people that's around you, do you keep yourself around people that's like-minded when it comes to the way your lifestyle? Like, because that
Yo,
plays
that's
a
a
part
yo,
too.
that's a great question, because I feel like that's what I'm doing now. Like, with you cultivating relationships like this and tapping into my resources, because this is a lonely road. I hate to use the word lonely, and I don't mean that in a way that like we're lonely, but I mean it in a way of like we find a lot of time evaluating ourselves, because a lot of people don't understand the path that we have chosen, and it's really an inward path. And it's just like, but the more you choose it, the more your light shines. So it's like the people closest to us, like they blinded by that, but the other people, strangers, are attracted to it. And that's why you create your own media,
Mhm.
because you have so much value outside of the people that know us, they have a nostalgic self-image of us,
You're right.
you know. So it's like we have to build relationships. We have to learn how to build relationships, and sometimes that is lonely because we're not used to reaching out to people, trying like making it seem like we want to make new friends. It's not about making new friends, it's more about making new relationships, tapping into your resources, somebody, team building, back in business. You know what I'm
I feel
saying?
like
Stuff like that.
those new relationships will keep you more accountable, because the people that you've been around, you may grew up with and things of that nature, they used to you being one way. So the new relationships, they meet you where you at. So with them meeting you where you at, any backsliding or anything of that nature makes it looks like, okay, well, he ain't about what he talking about. So that's gonna keep you on your ding. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we don't get the support from those that seen us come from one stage in our life to the next, and ascend into the our becoming stages. It's they don't understand. I don't, and we shouldn't take that personally. Some relationships don't evolve, some relationships devolve, and that's fine. And like you said, new relationships, people, they meet you within your second and your true self, your higher self. They meet you there, and it's like, okay, yeah, let's go from here, rather than, but that's still, for me, that's not a justification or an excuse, because I feel like our people from our past can do the same thing. I feel like they can meet us where we at too. My fault, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. My bad. Okay, so what I'm gonna say about that is, I feel like growth is basically about recreation anyway. So as long as you recreating yourself, I mean that's showing growth. You should never be the same. You should never like stay the same. You should always be leveling up. We both following keys, and as far as reaching your higher self, pretty much. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my goal with everything. You should never be stagnant in those relationships. You're gonna meet new people. Those new people that you meet, they should help you climb that ladder. You shouldn't be meet if you're gonna meet all kind of people, but you should gravitate and keep your circle with the people that's gonna keep you leveling up. Um,
Mm. You know what, big bro? I really been working on that though, because I'm gonna tell you something. Like, for a while, I've been here, like, physically, but mentally I've been like somewhere else.
you gotta
So
be.
you see what I'm saying?
Gotta be.
So it's like,
Matter of fact, you better be. That's how that go. That's how
yeah,
that go.
like you, that's the only way I can. That's the only way I can truly survive and thrive in the way that I need to be, and embodying what it is that I do. So, but that can get I can get very consumed, and I can get very well, it would seem like, I ain't gonna say like brand new, but kind of like, I can see why people that knew me from the outside would not know how to approach me.
Mhm.
I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
You
starting to
saying knew you
accept
from
that
the
about
outside?
myself.
Okay, you saying the people that knew you from the outside, meaning yesteryears.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That knew me from that phase, that stage in my life. I
Mhm.
can see how
Mhm.
they can not really, how they can feel like I was really kind of like a stranger, or for I'm not, because my self evolution is so mystic,
Mhm.
you know.
Nobody. I can say this, like the genuine hearted people, they can recognize that. But however, the people that are stuck in, like, I can say, like a negative mindset, they don't want to see that. They don't want to see
Mm,
evolution. They want to hold you. That's like an anchor. They want to hold that. You got to stay here in this place. You know what I mean? No, we not. If I can't evolve, you can't evolve. That's how
right.
it is. We all gonna stay on the same boat. And once I see you trying to swim to a bigger boat, it's almost to me like, I mean, it's sad to say, a lot of our people is envy. I feel like it's an envy there because, and it's not, I don't want to say it's geared from you personally. It's more of a self thing. It's the security
Absolutely.
of self. Like if you don't know
It's,
yourself,
it's
yeah.
intimidating. It's intimidating because you're challenging them to be their best self. That you're
Mhm.
challenging them to be a superior self. So of
And-
course so you come around, you just like you just said, you just left the gym. You just let
mhm.
the gym come around. You know what I'm saying? You drinking your herbs, you drinking your fruit smoothies, you got your sea moss and all of that. You looking good. You looking 10, 12 years younger than what you really is. Guys might be on medication. Guys might be going bald. Guys might be dealing with aches and pains.
Mhm.
And you come around, and guys might have wives and girlfriends. And here you come around, You ain't dealing with none of that. Looking good, ain't complaining about no aches and pains, and and it's like,
It's like get him out of here, get him up, get him out of here. Basically, that's what that is. Yeah.
you see, what I'm saying? Like, because, and then also too, it puts in a disciplinary law too, because they eating off the grill and you over there drinking smoothies and eating mangoes, and they like, oh, you ain't eating nothing off the grill. Like, no, I don't eat no flesh, I don't eat no meat.
He too good. He too good. He think he better. It ain't even
See what I'm saying?
I'm better. The objective is to be better. It's self first. Self is first always. So you supposed to, instead of looking at me like, oh, he want to be better, or he think he better, look at me like inspiration or guidance. Like, we're supposed to be moving together. That's supposed to be a formation. Like, if we move together, we're gonna be more powerful.
But it's not. A lot of us are not ready to let go of this materialistic 3D realm that we see right now. We're not willing to let it go. So once you're around somebody that's unplugged, you come across a neo like us. You come across you come across a neo that's totally unplugged, but he's at the party.
But
He's
somehow
looking like
party. They done
he's
just put
looking
him
like,
in there.
oh
They just
nah,
threw him in
nah.
there.
They like, nah. They looking like, come on, man. Like, so it's like, you got to understand, and it's unfortunate that we have to speak like this, but it's so authentic, because I've been doing this for 8 years, and I felt like an alien for more than half of them.
You gonna continue? I mean,
And
I can't even say you gonna
and
continue to.
man, listen. And in my head, I'm thinking like, y'all worry about this. Y'all totally worry about the wrong thing. I'm literally just trying to really save the earth for your kids, for our kids' kids. This ain't really got nothing to do with us. Ain't got nothing to do with us. But but you're so caught up in the wrong now, is what the materialistic things that mean nothing, that
You
bring
you
no
so caught up on
longevity
the
in your
what? Say that again. You so caught up on the
the
what?
wrong now.
The
The wrong
wrong
now. Not
now.
not the everlasting now. You know what I'm saying?
The wrong now.
Like the wrong now, man. So it's just like it's
It goes to this.
is I can't even go into the inspiration or the source of why I even do why I even am. I'm already kind of getting judged and looked at crazy before I even can explain myself, that I'm doing this for your kids.
Now
I
look,
can't
what
even
you
get
said.
that part.
Listen, this is the part I completely understand, because it goes back to what I was saying, as far as if we move as a unit and we're all on the same page, the power that we have, that means the influence that we have on the whole earth, everybody, the kids, everything. It's gonna take more than just you. It's gonna take more than just me. It takes all of us to be like-minded and move together, because who you touch, I touch, the next person touch, we all in unity, like we all moving together. That's why I'm so, like, I be so glued in the keys, because I'm sitting here, I'm like, the whole objective is, if you can get someone to the point where we're all on the same accord mentally. And he's been the best person I done seen that's been able to do, like, he moving so fast. He's moving so fast. I'm like, man, look, I gotta go see him in person, because I don't know if this guy's AI. Like, he's too cold. That's how I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
looking
you
at
know, for real, nah.
it. Yeah.
Now I seen him. I went in Atlanta, seen him in Atlanta, him and Billy Carson. And
Okay.
it's one thing that I learned from Keys. What two things was, like, what we're doing now is, if, as an entrepreneur, create your own media, and number two, how to package and sell intellect.
Mm, mm, mm.
How to package and sell intellect, taking advantage of IPOs, intellectual property opportunities. That's what and key and how to present it and market it and make it look good, make it look wavy. So now when I'm doing my wellness thing, and I'm establishing my authority as a wellness curator, herbalist, alchemist, I know how to make it look good.
Oh,
Blueprint
I
laid it
see.
out.
I'm watching. I'm out here. I got a whole telescope on. It's a telescope out there. I'm watching. I've seen it. I've seen the transition. Um, and that's what really, I don't know. I was already looking to tap in, but it was like something. I'm saying, man, okay, we on the same page. That's what got me. I was like, we on the same page. So I'm supposed to go see Keys on the 20th. Yeah, he's
Oh,
supposed to
well, he
be
gonna
in
be in
Cleveland.
he
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
go to
up there. He gonna be up your way, right?
Yep, he'll be in Cleveland on the 20th. So I got the meet and greet and all that. I got the whole joint.
Oh
So
yeah, you gonna love it.
yeah, I need that. However, this is right here, this segues into what the whole thing is about perception. So everything that we've been speaking about is perception and perspective. And that's trickery with it, because do you recognize the difference between perception and perspective?
How I interpret it, like my philosophy on it is like perception perception is how you see a certain scenario, observation, or whatever the case may be, right? But I don't see from a sense of a five sensory aspect. I see from intuitive aspect. So
Okay.
when I see something, I'm coming from a place of extrasensory perception. I'm trying to see it in a way of outside of the box, so I can be innovative with it and take it and use it and apply it in life so I can thrive. And from that, from what I from in my perspective is the information that I gather from that perception.
There you go.
That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it, because my perspective on something comes from my perception on it from my first intuitive interaction with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
So
And I'm
that's how I look
yeah.
at it.
When I got everything together, sent you the outline, and I was looking at it, and I was just listening to people speak, and I was like, they're so close and interchangeable. You will have to have your own philosophy of what is what.
Mm.
You know, because we could speak about it, and somebody might be like, well, that's my perspective, that's my perception on it. You might be like, well, that's my perspective on it. You could still interchange the words, you know, and they're saying perspective is basically could be more focused on how you was raised. The way you was raised is going to determine your perspective. Now,
Mm.
yeah, now perception could be how you pretty much look at a situation.
And
Your
also how what you're looking at the situation, how you're looking at
how
it.
are you looking at it?
Like
What lens are you
what are
looking at
you
it?
looking at it? Exactly.
Yeah, what lens are
Exactly.
you utilizing?
And what lens you looking at it from?
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
So
It's how you get your perspective of it. Because if
exactly.
you're just looking at it from a place of from your eyes, like how you watch TV or a
Yeah.
movie or TV show, okay, well your perspective is going to be,
We can have
basic.
we can have two different perspectives. Like we could be watching the show. And I done been in this situation. You could be sitting with someone, you catch what went on, you might start laughing. They might still be stuck because they didn't get their perception of it or perspective of it didn't match yours. So they're trying to figure out what you laughing at, or or something took place to where it was something hidden in the movie. They didn't pick up on it because of their perception.
Because they perception. But you caught it just like battle rap. We might be
Yeah,
we watching the battle. We caught the bar, but somebody beside us, they looking
exactly,
like what? They like what? And we like, nah, it's because we were listening with a different ear.
exactly.
So our perception of how we were, how we caught it, are is going to translate over differently into our perspective because of the information, the frequency that we gathered from the perception, because we were listening with our third eye. We were hearing and feeling precognitively.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like we're ahead of the person beside us. The person beside us didn't translate the bar, but we heard
So
the bar, you know, and we like,
now,
oh, whoa, that was crazy,
now look,
and they still stuck.
yeah, now so due to the fact that you do battle rap, how do you feel like you can utilize the way that you go about battle rap in life? Because that back to perception again. You know, a lot of the choices that people make, they may be making the wrong choices. However, they don't even recognize them as wrong choices because they have the wrong perception. Just like you said, it was a bar there. There's a bar there that someone is overlooking, you know, that's throwing them off of getting the results that they should have in life. Now, you could
Man,
be talking, me and you talking right now, we got understanding, and we on the same accord. So what I'm seeing and what you're seeing, to get the right results and to be successful in life, somebody else might miss that bar.
mm,
You get what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
they might miss that bar. So they might be looking at you. They could look at you and be like, shit, well, you ain't really say nothing. But I'm looking at it like, shit, he did just say, he said a whole lot. You missed it
Now,
because of your perception.
exactly, and that's the well. First, I want to say, like, you know, culture. You know, I'm always gonna have love for the culture. I feel like sometimes battle rap can be a false sense of accomplishment. And
Mm,
then it's interesting that that battle rappers come up because I've recently changed my perception on being active in battle rap because I was in a kind of a I'm not gonna say a battle myself, but I was doing some internal work about the culture, and I was like, you know, I really don't want to make a living out of degrading or devaluing another black.
there you go. Go ahead. See, that's back
You
to
know what I'm saying? So
perception.
when
Yeah,
yeah, it's the you know, but see the energy but that came with me learning, me getting more into healing and getting more into understanding somatics and how the speed of sound is faster than the speed of light, and everything that we're saying right now and everything that you ever said in your life in that sound bubble is lasts forever. It don't go nowhere. People think that they say something and that's no. Everything that we ever said in life is still out there. The EMF is still in sound waves. You know, it's you just because you don't hear it no more, just because you don't see the vibration, it's the out there. Sound lasts forever.
it's that manifestation. That's the part of the
It
manifestation.
lasts forever.
Mhm,
Exactly. So
mhm.
coming into a better understanding of sonification and somatics, I just was like, you know what, like, nah, like, you know, I'm not trying to put that frequency in, you know, out in the universe because I believe for even if it, you know, even if it's just in the competition of like, you know, just you know, iron sharpen iron and you know, just
Mhm.
lyrical competitiveness. That's cool, you know, but then it's turned over into, you know what I'm saying, a more like, you know,
It's
embracing
reckless.
of ignorance, violence, and, you know, just kid like low black genocide and all of that, which is whatever. It's low vibrational to me.
There
So
you
I'm
go.
not even, you know, I'm, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't participate in tearing another black man down. You know what I'm
And
saying? That's the realization that I've come to within my own journey.
that's the
You know what I'm
evolution
saying?
of your perception.
Mm,
Because at one point in time, it was totally different. Like, and that's the best thing about life. Like what I was saying, that's that recreation. Your perception has evolved. So you looking at that situation totally different than you once did. So you got a whole, you just broke down a couple of chapters of your life.
mm. Nah, that's nah, that's real, man. It's the alchemy, the emotional alchemy I've been going through, the mental alchemy I've been going through, it's been like feeling emotions that I never felt before, learning things about myself that I never knew before. Like the inward path is so deep. But us as brave, we have to be brave to take it. It's a sense I really feel like there's a level of bravery for guys like us, especially black men that dive into that dive into self and say, you know what, nah, I'm gonna really go there. I'm gonna really see what the real root of the problem is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And that goes into, I was telling someone, like, if you really pay attention to yourself and you're aware of yourself, you pretty much can get to a place of, you would say, psychic ability, due to the fact that you know how you're going to respond in every situation that occurs, because you know yourself. So you don't put yourself in situations, you're not even going to put yourself in situations that you know could totally go bad, because you know how you're going to respond to the situation. Now, if you don't know yourself, which is how all of us ended, all of us done been through our trials, tribulations, streets, all that. And that is a time where we trying to find ourselves. And that's how we end up in situations, because we don't know ourselves at that time. So as we get older, you start to sit back, like you're saying, you noticing things about yourself, like, hold up. And then when you look back as your yesteryears, you like, hold up, okay, now I know I couldn't have knew myself at that time, because I wouldn't have
Nah,
put myself, yeah.
nah, that's a fact. Nah, it's funny you say that. I want to say a couple things when you said profound things. The first thing, that's when you say, when you know how you're going to respond, that is because you pretty much found an antidote for your triggers because you healed them. So like, nobody can gaslight you. Nobody can really trigger you because you've already found an antidote to your reactivity. So now you're in control of your reactivity. A lot of that has to do with the subconscious mind and the reprogramming of that. And then, what I'm saying, moving forward into when you were saying oh, the psychic abilities, the precognitive feelings and visions. That's when I was on that fruitarian diet. I'm telling you, I would think of somebody and they would phone me. You're like, what?
This is what's
Like
going
literally,
on
like,
now with me too. The same. That's man, and
yeah.
that's,
I'm I'm
I've been
I'm
looking for
serious. Like
explanations
it's
for that. Yeah.
no, it's not. It's the explanation is, your thoughts are electric. Your heart is magnetic. Then you're activating your pineal. Your pineal gland is producing more cells. The energy around your pineal gland is the third eye. Then you get into the precognitive abilities, the intuitive abilities, extrasensory perception.
Mhm.
Clairvoyance. You start knowing things and realizing things before they happen. You see, and then it's the same way of because we talk about intuition. Intuition is a heightened power of guidance. So like, think about the prophets and how they would have a dream and it'd be like a revelation from God. So we know that intuition is like, when I say in my content, is like you pray and the intuition is how God telephones you back. So they would get these dreams, and the dreams would signify this is going to happen, and then they would know God would send them a message through that dream. This is all intuition. This is all clairvoyance, precognitive abilities, being able to finish people's sentences before they can, like, what people are going to say before they
Mhm.
do. You trust your feelings so much, like like thoughts transfer. And this is, but as humans, we don't believe in our supernaturalism because of how they have us caught up in everything that blocks the production of
Distractions.
cells in our pineal gland, everything that blocks that our nervous system, everything that disrupts our vagus nerve, which is our second brain to our first brain. What I'm saying, the neurotransmitters, neurogenesis, neuroplasticity. They have already proved that the human mind can expand. They already have proved that you can literally grow your mental mass, can literally grow. Your neurons in your brain can literally click to the point where you can tap into, and through meditation as well, you can tap into different dimensions of the mind to where you can know what's going to happen before certain things happen, or you can feel things happen before they naturally happen, or you can recreate things in your reality the way you want them to happen. Your consciousness is your meditation is the sole provider and creator of that. The raising of the consciousness is the key, but where do we start? I believe the raising of the consciousness literally starts with the changing of the dietary law, of the eating of the live foods, of the information that you're consuming. That's where it starts at. That's when you really start coming into your earthling, to your real human being, not just walking around like a human body, but worrying about what's the next music video that's going to come on TV or playing on your video and distracting you from who you truly are and your real true power. That's what they really want. They want to devolve you to the point where you're not even human no more and bring in AI. And
now we're gonna tap out. You spoke it up. You spoke it up. You spoke it up. So you spoke it up right there. What I'm gonna say is, you know, I feel like in the world, like everybody, I don't believe that there's a wrong. It's something that I might not feel, that my perception on how people go about things, that's just not the way that I think in certain circumstances. So like we was talking about perception. I can help with that if you turn on. Look, see, I ain't even do nothing. She just jumped on in there. But what I'm gonna say is everything that you just said makes sense. And that's all I'm trying to, when I'm speaking to people, is whether you can make it make sense. Whether I disagree with whatever is going on, if it makes sense, we're on the same page. And when I'm speaking and I'm just listening to you, everything that you're saying makes complete sense. You know, and when I break it down to the simplest form, I look at it like, well, we are a creation and we are walking creators, pretty much. You can create anything. It's just as long as you tapped in the right way and you're not caught up in the distractions. That's just basically what you said, breaking it down in the simplest forms. You like, it's so many distractions that people don't even recognize. They trying to figure out why they can't resolve certain situations and things that they are going through or things that they're within because they're distracted. The meditation, if you don't take the time to meditate, you should be taking the time to pray, which is a form of meditation. So all of those things, all of these things work together as far as, you know, you getting the proper results.
Right.
Now, when you just spoke about the AI thing, how do you feel about the what's his name? Jeffrey Hint? That's his name? Who is the pretty much the founder or the person that started AI quitting because of him feeling like AI is about to be, you know, do you think it's going to destroy humanity or you think it's going to do more of helping humanity?
Majority of humanity, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why AI is here, because humanity has literally destroyed itself. So, I mean, humans have declined so much to the point it's like, here we are. You know, so it's kind of like the ones, AI is going to be outstanding for people like us who are coming into the fifth dimension of the mind, who are really striving to come into the Christ consciousness. It's gonna be great for us. But think how vulnerable the average human is. Just think about it. I mean, if we took this conversation in front of the corner store right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, we're gonna keep it all the way 100 right now.
You get no play in my ride.
We gonna take it to, and we right beside the wing stop, and we can talk about, hey, look, and we can make this whole episode about AI. Like, hey, look, guys, we got to start acquiring new skill sets, because I'm telling you, in the next 6 months, that's gonna be robots in there cooking your wings, and you're gonna lose all your jobs. And we're trying to bring awareness to this and let you guys know that we have to, as a people, get our skill sets up and evolve. They're gonna be like, man, get this out of here, man. They ain't trying to hear that, Sharif. Okay, but the reality of it is that's where we are as humans. And that's why AI is about to come in and change the whole game. And a lot of us are not going to be ready for it. We're going to be in a lot of loss because we're not understanding that we have come to a point to where they feel like as though they can do anything and get away with anything, and we'll be led like sheep and we'll accept it. And that's just what is really, that's what it's going to be. But I feel like for entrepreneurs like us, for innovators, inventive people, it's gonna be outstanding for us. Like with the email automation, it's gonna be game changing. And I work with a little bit of AI too on certain things dealing with email automation and gathering data, so I can send out emails on a consistent basis with my target audience and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm learning how to use it more efficiently myself, you know, but goes back to us having a purpose and finding a purpose, and and bonding with our, and rather than, a lot of our people, unfortunately, they don't see the significance in learning about AI, but just by the way of their thought patterns, and it's unfortunate.
They're more
Yeah,
focused
because we
on,
can't.
yeah, something else,
Yeah, we
like
more. Yeah,
nothing is productive.
you and it's kind of hard. But you have to start with the fundamentals of how to think with the people. That can be frustrating because what you're fighting now is with social technology, communication, radio, TV shows, Netflix, apps, and all that. What you're fighting up against is not realistic. It's not realistic.
It's out your weight class. Pretty much, that's what it is. Yeah,
It's not realistic. Not because they have to literally detach from distraction, and if they're not ready to do that, is we can't compete against those. We can't compete against those apps. We can't compete against these distractions.
I went
trying to get to the people.
I had took a course to get a certificate to be a drug counselor, right? And I let it relapse. So I really need to renew it. However, during the process of taking that course, I learned why they call addiction a disease. Because it changes the chemical balance in your brain. Like anything that changes the chemical balance pretty much is a disease. So with the addiction, you pretty much replace your natural dopamine levels with something that you really don't need. So now every time you get in, okay, you could say people self-medicating. So now your dopamine levels are replaced with whatever you self-medicate with. So say it's drinking. Every time you get a drink, you up like, oh yeah, we about to go get a drink. You excited. So once that starts happening, you pretty much, people don't want to say they're addicted to anything. That's like the worst thing to say. However, once you, like you said, once you know yourself, and we're gonna get into accountability. Once you know yourself and you're accountable for those things, you can find a solution to the problem. If your car never had a check engine light, service engine light, whatever, you don't know that there's a problem going on. Exactly. So when that check engine light come on, it's saying there's a problem. So with you recognizing that you have a problem, just as what we're speaking about, people are being brainwashed to the distractions. They're addicted to the distractions. No one wants to admit that they're addicted to the distractions, though. So if you don't want to admit that you're being distracted, like you said, you up against this a whole nother animal. You can't beat that. Like you said, we have to start. Yeah, we at the store talking about this. Ain't nobody listening.
Nah, it ain't only way we only, but the way we can beat it is like what you do is to produce this not the dopamine, but the serotonin, the longevity hormone, the hormone
Mhm.
which you get when you hit the gym, that chemical reaction in the brain, that's
Exactly.
longevity. When you create things, when you're self-investing, when you're working out, you know what I'm saying? And yet
Mhm.
that and you creating that long-term hormone within the gut. Most serotonin is produced within the gut. This is but and then that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with well, what are we consuming to make our thought patterns go this way? We're consuming a lot of processed food.
Mhm.
We're consuming a lot of fast food. We're consuming a lot of bioengineered chemicals, which is causing, not only just toxoplasma, but our not to get too far deep into it, but um intestinal dysbiosis.
Mm.
So
What
I
is
want the
that?
people to
Break that
understand
down.
what go. So when you intestinal dysbiosis, so when you eat processed foods and foods that are chemically like are bioengineered foods, you get a whole new bacteria in your gut. So we're nothing but a big blob of bacteria. So when your bacteria changes from these new chemicals, the bacteria starts releasing these new chemicals in your body. They're like mutagens, right? So then now this bacteria is sending signals up into your neurotransmitters in your brain through your vagus nerve. Your gut and your brain are connected. But the intestinal dysbiosis, that's what's happening within the bacteria in your gut, though, because now you got all these new bacteria that's releasing these chemicals that are foreign to your body, and they're taking over your body. So you're not even operating as who you truly are. You're literally a host to this new bacteria that they created in the lab.
Mm.
This thing gets really deep, and people don't understand.
Mhm.
I'm saying this is when you cleanse and you have to cleanse and detoxing is a daily thing, especially now because almost everything we pick up in the store has bioengineered ingredients in them. People don't understand how serious this is because it's literally altering your DNA structure. It's making you into something that you don't even know what you think that these are your thoughts, but they're not even your thoughts.
Why we get back to why you
They're
can't get
not
the
even your
results.
thoughts.
You can't even get the results that you set out to have, but like you said, because these are not your thoughts.
You can't even get and they wonder why I try things and I just can't stick with them. I just can't. I be doing good for a little while and then I just got to go back and it
Mhm.
just I just be and then sometimes I sit back and listen to people, and I don't even get. I understand now because I was talking to my cousin the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, I fasted for a couple of days, and then when I came back to eating, I just ate some chicken wings." I was like, "What? You was craving it?" He was like, "Nah, I wasn't craving it. It's just I just don't know anything else."
Mm.
And I was thinking in my head like, "See, that's all in the subconscious mind programming. Like you just
Yeah,
told yourself that you don't know anything else
yeah.
right after you did 3 days of fasting. So you clearly know something different.
You know something different. You were supposed to reprogram
You see what I'm
yourself. That's
saying?
basically, yeah. You was supposed to be. You was reprogramming
You was
reprogramming yourself, but you went back to the program, the old program, involuntarily, which is the subconscious. That's the involuntary. Like they embedded that. Yeah.
it really just sit back, listen. It'll confirm your own truth. Just sit back and listen to people and understand. Like that's why I be having a lot of gratitude. Like man, okay, it's time to step it up more and step it to the next, not to the new level, to the next pinnacle because of what it is, how you hold yourself accountable, how you hold
Now,
yourself
exactly.
how you hold yourself accountable.
And that's
You
the
know,
biggest thing right now. Most people, the masses of people, can't hold themselves accountable.
mm,
If you just look at, if you can just look around the world, like like you said, some people trying to stick to certain things. It's like going to the gym. I could say, you know, majority of the year I go to the gym. However, I have times that I done fell off maybe a month or two here, but I have my I don't like to let myself beat myself. Like I'm not gonna sit around and be like, okay, well, I ain't been in the gym. I'm not about to just let that ride out. My biggest thing is being accountable and facing myself, regardless of what anybody else is doing, what is going on around me. I have to look at myself every day. I ain't gonna see nobody. I might not see nobody else, but I'm gonna see myself.
Exactly. And let's say,
Yeah.
let's say me and you hit the gym, and I like to do these things called self accountability workouts. Me and you, we in the gym, we doing hammers, we doing curls. Boom. We in the gym. You like, look, now you like, oh, every rep you break, you got to do 10 extra reps. Every rep you break, your form gotta be tight and you gotta be right form. You gotta do it. If not, you owe me 10 more reps. I say, all right, cool. Boom, we doing it. Boom. Like, nah, oh boy, you broke set, owe me 10 more reps. Accountability workout, bro. I saw you. Your form was not tight. All right, you right. Boom. I'm doing it again. No, bro said again, bro, rep again. You owe me 10 more, man. All right, I got you. I got you. You right. Bro said, do it again. So like on that third time, if you start to notice, like I'm starting to enjoy holding myself to the standard of for like I have to do this right. I have to make sure I got the right formation, bro.
Yeah.
Like if I got to have the right formation. I know now, like if I don't have the right formation, I gotta start all the way back over again. Like so it puts you in a like this accountability, it puts you in a place of like it puts you in a place of like supernatural
Reprogramming.
strength, bro.
Reprogramming.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It take you there and you start enjoying it. You start enjoying that joint. You start noticing like, nah, I enjoy holding myself. I'm gonna hold myself to that standard. I'm gonna hold myself to that standard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, we can lay all my shit out on the table.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. It makes you so much stronger.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Because I relate self accountability to vulnerability. It's so much power in vulnerability, man. It's so
And
much power in vulnerability. And people they don't like men, a lot of us black men, we don't like to be vulnerable.
no.
And honestly, the artists that we listen to are the most the songs we love most about them, they the most vulnerable on it. We feel it the most. Damn, what that nigga said some real shit. I swear to God, but you can't do it. But you can't be accountable or be vulnerable though. But you love this song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Facts. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
And
man.
somebody told me about that like years ago, and I didn't understand. Like, you know, because I didn't evolve just yet. They had evolved a little further than I did. And it was a business partner, a female, and she was like, she was doing the media thing. And she was like, look, this is what you should do because this is where I see that your strength is at. She's like, however, in order for you to do it to your highest potential, you would have to be vulnerable. Because this whole thing that we're doing right now consists of judgment, scrutinize, and like you said, the people that you grew up with or the people you around, no one wants to see that part of you. Like, man, look at you. Who you think? So in order for you to be cool with that, you got to be vulnerable. Like, I'm cool. I'm a walk in me. I'm accountable for everything. Like, this is who I am. So if I have to leave the people behind in that boat to get on another boat with these new relationships, these people are going to hold me accountable because I want to hold me accountable.
Exactly. And man, like I like what you gotta when you was talking about, putting yourself around people that you can build off of, and people that will hold you accountable and bring the best out of you. You know,
Yeah.
I've been learning to do that lately. I spent a lot of time by myself, and I needed that time for myself just to be work on, my brand and my business and stuff like that. But I understanding the importance of what you said earlier of putting yourself around people that push you, and you'll be surprised, like the people that were waiting on that request from you, or were waiting on that invite from you, like, yeah, man, and it's like you didn't even realize it because you were so thinking you were alone or by yourself, or nobody really rocks with me, nobody wants to, you know what I'm saying, nobody want, but it don't even be like that. Like, you done impacted so many people. People be waiting.
Right.
They be waiting.
You know, like you said, people be waiting, and a lot of the times we get caught in autopilot with ourselves, and we don't even realize how many people we actually inspiring at that time. Like, you be inspiring a lot of people, and then somebody might pop out like, man, hey, bro. For instance, somebody was like, oh man, I don't know if I miss motivational Mondays. I'm like, nah, you ain't miss it. I just ain't do it that day. Now, I didn't know that you was even really on it like that, because I'm caught in autopilot for my. I'm like, I'm in autopilot. I'm just being me. However, they're looking at you in a whole different lens than you looking at yourself.
Mm,
So they're holding you accountable back, like, once again.
yeah, right. And you not even realizing they follow that's one of your followers, or you're inspiring them to the point where they knew that you didn't do it that day, and you like, you thinking like, dang, I didn't even know you was even keeping up with the movement like
Yeah,
that. But hey,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It push you. That's what you be needing for the extra push.
exactly, exactly. So we ain't go. I mean, we can go forever, but I'm gonna ask you one more thing before we actually get out of here, and I'm gonna ask you two more things. Um, what defines a man to you right now in today's world, and what defines a woman
Right now,
as of today? Yeah, the ideal
right as
man.
of right now, and it's gonna be the same answer for both. What
Hmm.
defines a man to me right now is they mind, your
There you
mind,
go.
your mind. Right now, it is the definition. The definition of a man right now to me, or you put if somebody was to ask, like, you just ask me, you ask me what was, or ask the question again.
What today in today's world? What? How do you define the ideal man and the ideal woman? What makes you? Know what I mean, what determines a man?
Fluidity of mind, like a real man today, to me, in my opinion, has needs to have a good man has fluidity of mentation, and that means his mind, his mind is not just clear, but focused on what it is that whatever his purpose or his vision is. He's constantly mastering the art of concentration and constantly cultivating his most valuable tool, which is his mind, which defines everything that goes on in his reality. So I feel as though what would define a man and a woman right now in this day and age would be the fluidity of mind within that woman. If that woman has a strong fluidity of mind, if she has a strong connection with, and don't, when I say mind, don't think I don't have a spirit. I believe the mind and spirit are one. That's just that's just my philosophy on it. So that means that their spirits are sound too, because if you're working on your mind, there's no way that you're not working on your spirit.
Big old
You see what I'm
fact. I
saying? So
totally agree.
a woman being the more spiritual, influence, I feel like a woman with fluidity, and she's gonna be a lot more. She's gonna be more of the spiritual goddess. She's gonna be more of the spiritual protection. So that's how I would look at them. That's how I would define a good man and woman, would be the fluidity of the mind, and the more of the woman would be, I'm looking at more too as her spiritual presence. How far is she going within her mind? Is she just a Jesus freak, or does she really understand the spiritual elements and the spiritual alchemy of self? Does she really understand the Christ consciousness, and how, what I'm saying? Not only you ain't just worshiping Christ, like you're trying to be more like the Christ. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, that's what I feel defines a, a complete or good man, great man or woman right now in this day and time. Because if we got our minds, if we can master art, if you can master the alchemy and focus and concentration right now in this day and time, this is the perfect time, because nobody is doing it. Portals is open.
Facts. They got that with that song they call "That's How You Step on Them." You just stepped on them. That was the best. That was the best way to define it right there. Um, I have no objection to that. That's a key piece right there. Um, and I totally agree. A man is his mind, and I agree with you as far as your mind and your spirit being one. And if you can find, long as you got, as a woman, if she's tapped into that her spiritual all the way completely in self, that's great. That's gonna fit everything. All that's how that puzzle's supposed to fit for completion. Um,
Mhm.
Now my last piece is,
Hey, I want to say one more thing with that's
yeah.
about that. I'm gonna say one more thing. I'm gonna ask you for first. I'm gonna ask you a question first.
Go ahead.
So, do you feel okay? So, it made me think of when I said Jesus freak, and that came from a place of like indoctrination.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to ask you, do you feel like religion has helped or held us back more?
I feel like it depends on your perception of it, and I'm gonna say why.
Mm.
Because you can look at it from two lenses. It's a duality point in that, like,
Yeah,
religion could separate us as a body of people. That's one lens. That's
yeah.
one lens. However, if you really look at it in another lens, it's supposed to be used as far as discipline and the focus on a guiding light. That's supposed to be your focus. As long as you're focused on something, religion is always looked at to make you better. Now, if
Hmm.
we're all focused on becoming better, it wouldn't make a difference whether you was Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever. We wouldn't even be looking at it if we did it correctly. We wouldn't be looking at it as being divided. We will all be as one, as focused on a guiding light as better. So everybody's so focused on trying to be divided, when everybody is not looking at the fact that your guiding light was supposed to be God. Just that right there. That's the guiding light for everybody. Like boom, 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 boom. Batman symbol. That's the focus right there.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
with the question, I just feel like that question goes back to the whole topic of the discussion, perception. It's all about how you look at it and how you execute it. So like currently, like me, you know, my focus in Islam. However, I'm still a baby to it, you know, and I'm not perfect in the things that, you know, that I should be doing that I don't do.
Yeah.
However, that right there, the ultimate goal is still it has me geared to being better. Whatever you got to do to make you become better and you reach your higher level, that's what you focus on. Because a lot of people don't have some people don't have no deity, and without it, none of us is going to be perfect. However, at least this will be the better end of the stick. Like,
yeah,
that's how I look at it. Like, I'm gonna say this another thing. Like, you know, I've been doing this about 4 years as far as Islam. Ramadan is something that I never tapped into before that. Like, that didn't make me worse. That made me better.
right.
You know, you got praying 5 times a day. That is one of the hardest things to do sometimes for me. Now, that right there is like, that's still a big challenge for me. And you know, I know I'm supposed to do that.
Yeah.
However, I do know one thing about that is when it comes to religion and when I compare religions, and it's not comparing them in a bad way, is that when you got to pray 5 times a day, once you pray one time and you get up and you moving throughout the day, you can't, your mind won't allow you to venture off to anything that's not productive or anything that's wrongful thinking. So by the time you do get to that thought to do something wrong, it's about time for you to pray again. It keeps you so like balanced. I don't know. That's been the best piece for me as far as that. You know, like I said,
Yeah.
I ain't perfect. However,
Like
but that's
you're a disciplined. Yeah, you're a disciplined disciple like me.
yeah.
You're a disciple of discipline, which
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the awareness of Al Islam, the God awareness of Al Islam keeps you on the mustaqim, keeps you on the straight path.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's there for you for. Is there for that. A lot of people that they came and they turned it into religion when it's really a lifestyle. As much as you can
Exactly.
stay on the lifestyle, stay on the lifestyle as much as you can. And don't beat yourself up when you don't. It's
Man,
there
look.
for you to use. You need to get back on track. It's there for you to utilize it when not to say when you need it, but
When you get off course,
when daily, if you
day,
can, as much as possible. But at the same time, if you if you we live in a time to where like that's why the afternoon prayer, that's why some prayers are silent and some prayers are out loud because obviously there's businesses going on, there's
mm-hmm.
stuff going during the daytime, the work week, like what I'm saying, like so it's like there's reasons behind why the structure of the prayer is the way that it is, and it's there for you to utilize it to tap into your power, tap into your
It's the code. It's the coldest piece. It's the coldest piece, man. I can say,
yeah.
and I'm gonna tell people this, like, wow, we'll be speaking on that. The whole thing about making it make sense, it actually came from a younger brother before I even reverted to Islam. He used to always come in the shop and he'd be like, big bro, if you just look at the Quran or you just focus on Islam, if you just look at how everything's set up, everything about it makes sense. You're not supposed to drink. Why don't you supposed to drink? It's not good for you. It's poison.
Mm.
Okay. You know, in other countries, and I know this is a touchy subject that people don't like to speak on, and this is not why a lot of men. I mean, I don't know what men do this, but as far as relationships, they say, well, he only want to be a Muslim because he's allowed to have this many wives. However, this is your choice of whatever you want to have, 1 to 4, whatever. That's your choice. However, what takes place is, this is my younger dude. This is a younger dude who's saying this, and he was like, if you look at it, America is already set up to where men are cheating and they're doing this. But when you go to other countries that practice Islam and stuff like that, their divorce rate is lower. The women are accepting to this because this is how they were raised into this.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Okay, so now you have these women that raise the kids while the man goes, like you spoke earlier, well, I think it was yesterday, and you was like, okay, I need to make a move. I need to go do this. It's all in benefit to the growth of the family and providing for the family. I need you to be able to hold the kids down. So if you can't hold the kids down, then you have the other wife that will hold the kids down. Like, this is a whole structure. Now, due to the mental programming that America has, it's hard. You're not gonna get. It's not a lot of women that's gonna be like accepting to that. So then now you got a lot of,
and it's crazy. It's crazy because polygamy is a solution for generational wealth.
It makes sense. I mean,
it's a cheat code, but we're so Eurocentric. We're so Eurocentric out since like we can't even see the cheat code right in front of our face. But a lot of that I blame us, though. I blame the black man a lot of it because we lost trust with them.
Yeah, right. So it's hard to go back on that. It's harder. Like, you got to turn around and they ain't trying to hear that.
They ain't trying to, exactly.
They ain't trying to hear that. However, at the end of the day, when it comes to Islam overall, everything that it deals with makes sense to me. And I don't know how people go from, I know people that I can't even say, I don't want to divide the religions, because at the end of the day, it's all the focus of God. I just want to say, I just feel like it's way more stricter when it comes to you being the bettering yourself all around the board.
Right.
It's going to hold you accountable.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's crazy that you said that, because that was the next question. That was going to be my next question. What source do you utilize to generate, your greatness? That was what I was about. That's crazy. That's what I was about to ask you. Like, what's your guiding light that keeps you there to reaching greatness? Like,
honestly, like really, you know what I'm saying? Like, the stage I've been going through now, I've been going through within myself, the source that I know that's with me, I know I'm very divinely protected. I honestly cannot explain it. The source that fuels me, the creative flow that comes to me in revelation through feelings, and I embrace it, and I go with my intuitive flow. But I honestly, the source of it, it's really nothing I could really imagine or explain or describe. So I just try to just go with it, and within going with it, I try not to worry about so much of like, I know that I'm going to be taken care of. I try to enjoy the process. I try to just enjoy the process and be grateful and have gratitude that I even have purpose. And I stay in that way of gratitude, and I stay in that way of trying to do the best that I can to service my people, and help people through herbal medicine, and my authorship with discipline coaching and holistic health coaching. I just try my best to stay focused on that, and the source that I'm getting fueled by, through infinite imagination and how I feel, and when I'm giving gratitude in my prayer, I can't I can't explain it. I really honestly can just be grateful for it. My life is so mystic. It's very mysticism experiences, identity shifting, going through different dimensions of the mind, different stages of understanding, realizations, psychedelic trips, you know what I'm saying? Understanding like who you truly are. Even I kind of talk about a little bit in my novel In the Sand on how like that's inspired by soul revolution. I don't that's what I mean about the unexplainable source, or I don't even know where that story came from. I mean, I know where it came from, but like it was an experience that I really it was like ancestral vindication. It was like ancestral vindication.
I
You know
want to
what
tap
I'm
in on
saying?
that. Hold on, just a second. I want to tap
You know
into
what
that
I'm
book.
saying? Uh,
You know that water in that gym. How you win there, man? Like,
oh
whew.
wow! Oh shit! Oh, all right.
You already know. I wanted to tap in about that book before we get out of here. You know, what was the motivation behind that? And it takes discipline and focus to be able to sit there and do that. Like, everybody probably wants to sit and write a book. However, those that complete that's a journey.
Yeah, yeah. Yo, you ever been driving, right? And like you probably driving to the crib or something, and then like it's kind of like you just zone out, like you're driving, but like you're not really paying attention, and then next thing you know, when you're paying attention, you're at the crib. You ever done that before?
Yeah. That's autopilot though.
It's kind of like your subconscious takes the wheel.
It's autopilot.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like you know how you got there, but like you weren't even really like fully consciously present. So
So
something
you
else
just
got
flow.
you.
So it's one of those things that you just let go and you just go. You never took the time to look at no signs or do this and try. You just went with your thoughts. I needed that because I'm currently working on something right now, and that's where it's at. It's like it's almost like journalism to an extent. Like now, once you put it in a novel, these are your thoughts. You just position them from a different angle.
Yeah. And like it's like that's how it was when I was writing my novel. It was kind of like it didn't feel like I was writing. I mean, I would sit in front of my computer, and then next thing I would know, I would be in a 4,000, 5,000, 9,000 word trance, just going because the story I already knew the story. I already It's kind of hard to explain because I know it came from a place of, like I was saying, ancestral veneration. It was kind of like it's something mystical in my bloodline from I just did this interview with this shout out Dr. Chris, and she talks about how we take on 14 generations traumatic experiences from our ancestors, like when we're in the embryo. This already has been scientifically proven. And I believe by what you do within your existence, you can tap into that. Depending on what you do during your existence, into that and manifest in different type of ways. And I feel like I've tapped into it in a way of one of my ancestors, because while I was writing a lot of physical things, I was writing because the main character that I made up, I found out that my main character in that book really exists. He's a real historical figure.
Mm.
Like I found that out through research and writing my book.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I knew I was doing something. It was you wouldn't believe this. This was crazy. So when I saw that was confirmation. I was like, what? This guy really existed? So then I started finding out more about him, and it all with everything that my whole storyline, it literally was like, this is his story. Because the thing about it was, so the main character name is Abram. So it's a real historic. You can look him up. And I'm gonna give y'all this real historical figure. His name is Abraham. Very interesting warlord during the Seminole Wars. Look him up. His name is Abraham, and you can look him up under probably Negro Fort in Florida. But anyway, Abraham was seen in these pictures with Americans when the Spanish and the British were in Florida trying to colonize the land during the Gullah Wars or during the Seminole Wars or whatever. But they were like, why is this black man in these pictures with these Native Americans? And they label him as a translator because he knew the language. But in all actuality, he was a warlord of the Gullah Wars. Abraham, he actually had a town in Florida, Abraham Town. And you can look all of this up. This is but nobody knew where he came from. He had a mystical background. He fought in all 3 Seminole Wars.
So you wrote the book, and during the process of writing it, that came to the surface.
Yeah, because it's a historical fiction, so it's true. So it's true events. It's based off true historical events. It's just it's imaginative writing, you know. So I was doing some real research because this is real history. So as I was doing my research, I came across this guy, and it's him, and nobody know where he came from. So I'm like, am I writing? Is this where he came from? Did he come from Haiti? And did he fight in Haiti and then end up over? Yo, this is I listen, man. When I really, that's not really like, you know what? This is it got really intense, man. So my process of writing came from like that type of way. And I just pretty much just stayed in those trances, man. In that process, I just stayed in those trances in that process. Pretty much just, it came to me just like revelation. I just went with it, just wrote, let my editor pretty much do the work on what I just made sure that when I got the revelation, the realizations, the downloads, whatever you want to call them, that I got them out. And because I knew I was writing a real story. Like it's like somebody was whispering it in my ear. But like anybody, like if you're looking for a real good cinematic novel, man, pick up In the Sand, man. Like that story didn't come from me. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm dead serious. I was literally just a vessel. Like for real.
So it'll make it's so you say it's so mystical that you go back and read it yourself as if you didn't write it.
Listen, sometimes I go back, I read some of it, and I be like, yo, where was I at? Like, where was I at? You know what I'm saying? Like, I like literally, like, I don't know where I was at, but wherever I was at, boy, that stuff was really happening, man. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah,
deep,
see,
man. I'm telling you, man, this journey been so deep, man. I just been
I
enjoying
would say just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Because we're gonna need you to keep doing what you're doing. Shit, I needed you to keep doing what you're doing. You know, and we gotta move. We gotta make sure this thing happen together. That's how I just look at it. Like I said, everybody, we just move as a unit. You know, everybody stay tapped in. We up against we up against a bully. We up against a bully. However, you know how that work with the bully. You know what I mean? You gotta
Yeah,
fight him every day.
yeah.
You gotta fight him every
Every
day.
day, man.
Yeah.
Every day. But it's all we winning though. We winning by sitting here right doing what we doing right now. We winning. We winning. They hate when we doing this. When we fellowshipping like this in the cipher and we building and we giving off we giving off these real live high vibrational frequencies through our speech. And people is having like they don't like that. We winning. You know what I'm saying? So we just gotta unapologetic. That's another thing too. That's what I've been telling my kids, man. So I tell my oldest son, I say, look, man, don't never worry about what nobody else think about you. When I started learning how to be unapologetically me and not care about what anybody else thought about me is when I became liberated. Because people are always gonna think and feel and look at you by the way that they think and the way that they feel. It don't have nothing to do with the fact of the truth of who you truly are.
No,
And that's what I
that,
had to learn for myself, man. And as soon as I still live, that's my word, big bro. Since I've been accepting that to the fullest, I've never been so free.
you know, it's like it's a thing called, you probably know about it. It's a thing called the mirror effect. The mirror effect is you living your life and what others perceive you to be. So you pretty much living your life of how other people think you should be instead of you living your life as you are. That's the mirror
Mm,
effect. And that's what we do majority of our life. Like in the beginning, we're doing exactly what we feel like people want us to be doing instead of embodying who you are. Like everybody in their head knew who they was when they was doing the shit they was doing. It's just
mhm.
you like they're not gonna accept me that way. So I'm out here chasing acceptance. And as we become men, we're not chasing acceptance. Acceptance gravitates to us because we're walking in who we are. It's a
Mm,
it's
mm,
it all turns around like as you get older. It just, I don't know what takes place, but you see the difference. Like instead of us doing full acceptance, we get accepted for doing us, being us. That's a different.
mm.
A whole different thing, man.
It's a difference. It's a difference.
Hmm.
Mm.
And that's how. And if you look at it, that's how when you start paying attention to the magnetism of how everybody gravitates towards each other. I see you, you see me, and you see me while I'm watching you. I can see that you walking in you. So that's what I'm accepting. Like, oh yeah, we on the same page. Walk in you. Like, don't be worried about what nobody think. When you can see the
Mm,
difference in the people. You can see the difference in the results. The results show
mm,
it shows up in the results. You only reach
mm,
success, complete success, and on the legit side when you could fully walk in you. Otherwise, you stagnated. You know, we out on the streets doing, boom, 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 whatever. You only
right.
gonna get so far. You can only get so far being somebody else. There's a ceiling to being somebody else. it's infinite when it comes to being yourself. Yeah, man. We tapped in. Locked and loaded.
Needed to hear that.
Yeah, locked and loaded. And you keep doing that because it becomes to the point. It's like 4K now. You know, that shit was like foggy. That was like VHS when we was growing, everybody growing up, going through what they going through. Once you start getting closer, you know, it's like, I don't know if it's like that late 30s, mid 30s to 40s. When you start walking into that land, I don't know what takes place in a man, and it should take place, but a lot of the times they said it's a saying that if you a fool at 40, you will be a fool forever. We've been here long enough. We done pretty much lived half our life already.
Yeah. By their biological rules.
Yeah, by their biological rules, by their number system.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We just when I don't know where you at with your with your diet, but just keep eating your live foods and drinking your water, man. We 120 boys, man. We go to 120, man.
Oh yeah, we pushing
We're gonna be
120.
looking
Yeah.
good at 70.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna be looking like this at 70, man.
you're right, and that's my goal. That's the goal right there. Yeah, that's the goal, man. And that's why I said to tap in with you, like when it comes to the health side, like my focus is there. However, to have people around me that's even more structured there, that makes me be accountable every day. Like I can't hit you up, Bill, with you, and I'm over here drinking a soda. You won't see that. I don't even drink soda. However, that just wouldn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I can't. We can't. Right. We in the car. You got a jug of water. I got a Pepsi. That don't make sense. That don't even look. That don't even. That don't. It don't make sense.
Nah, I'm with you. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? I don't. It's gonna come. We, you know, it's the ones that are true. You know, that are truly understanding of what self-love is and coming into understanding. Like, you know, it's crazy to me how, you know, I go to the grocery store and you know, I don't judge at all, but I just be like, damn, I really be sad, man, because I just be thinking like, damn, boy, like I be looking at people's cars, I'd be like, wow, man, like 3 packs of soda, you got water, like you got all this bread, man. I just be like, dang, man, they got us. They got us. You know what I'm saying? Like man, I just be feeling so blessed. I be feeling so blessed, and I be like, I be gratitude, man. Because this lifestyle has changed my life on so many different dynamics, You know, just my change has brought me, like, changed me in the transitional stages I've been through, man. My metamorphic state. It's just like I just be grateful. Man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the evolution of perception. Yeah,
for real.
That's what it
For
is.
real. What makes the perspective? Makes the perspective?
Makes the perspective. There you go. There you go. But yeah, man. Hey, tell them how to reach you, all your hoes and everything. How to get in contact with you.
Hit me up on IG at Supreme_Wellbeing LLC. And also you can find me on TikTok at Supreme Wellbeing. My TikTok go crazy. If y'all really looking for some real heavy information on somatics, healing, quantum physics. I go into a lot of different things on my TikTok. If y'all want to tap into there, go my TikTok at Supreme Wellbeing. Also Facebook, Supreme Wellbeing, my business page, and Oace of Spades on Facebook as well. I have a private group that I do like deals, discounts. I could put you in my private group if anybody's interested in holistic living there. And www.MySupremeWellbeing.com is my website. I got everything on there from products, digital products, my ebooks, courses, master classes, stuff like that. So just tap in with me there, and yeah, we lit, man. Man, this is great, big bro. I appreciate you having me
Oh
on
yeah.
as a guest. I got to get you down here on the Seat of Supremacy. Oh yeah, my YouTube, Supreme Wellbeing on YouTube. I just launched my
Okay.
pod lab. We shoot a pod lab in the laboratory with my co-host, Professor E. He is a innovative award-winning biochemist. He is a scientist. Our lab at Central University, and Mr. Pringles will be a guest on there soon. So
Oh yeah,
y'all make sure y'all
definitely.
go tap in. It'll be announced
Definitely.
soon, but we already got that in the making. So yeah.
Man, hey man, you know, it was definitely great to have you. This is gonna be an epic one. It's already live for the people. I'm gonna go back through, get everything together. We're gonna chop it up, and sell it retail, man. You feel me?
Mhm.
So
Yes, sir.
this is definitely was a good piece, good message, inspirational. Everything under the board. Everything under the board. I'm about to hit you up right after I get out of here, but you know, hey man, you know it's Mr. Pringles the Barber, aka always cutting head honcho. I am him, not them. I am him, not them.